Good evening, everyone. Today is Monday. I think today is the 29th of March. Yep, it is the 29th of March. Super excited because today is going to be a beautiful day here. We've had some rainy days for the last couple of days, but today it has opened. The day has just opened bright and clear and sunny. So that's a beautiful thing. And we're sort of at the tail end of winter, the beginning of spring. And where I am, the snow has finally melted. So I hope wherever you are, you're enjoying some beautiful weather. Today, we're going to be talking about weight maintenance or weight metabolism and weight loss. I'm calling this presentation Lose the COVID-5. Some of you have reached out to me and said that over COVID, you've been home a lot. You've put on between 3 and 5 kilos, some of you maybe a little bit less, and that you're trying to put on your clothes now and you're thinking, this just does not work. It's not what I was hoping for. So many of you I know, so a couple of people saying, hi, hey, Ernie, hey, Vincent, how are you? A couple of you have told me I didn't go out during COVID, right? Most of us didn't go out. We didn't go anywhere. We were in our houses. So for ladies, maybe a beautiful dress that you have that you didn't get a chance to wear. Gentlemen, maybe a suit or some tailored pants that you wouldn't normally wear around your house, but you want to go out now, you want to socialize and you want to put that stuff on and you go to put it on and you think, oh, this just doesn't fit the way it used to. And I just feel not so great about that. So I'm going to give you actually 8 steps that I've been using. So I want you to get out your pencil and paper or get your phone ready because I'm going to talk about emotions. I'm going to talk about food, but I also want to give you 8 concrete steps that I'm taking right now. And gentlemen, for you, it's going to be 7 steps, but for ladies, it's going to be 8 steps. But both of those numbers are lucky, right? Lucky 7 and lucky 8. And so I want you to really just write these down. And then I want to hear from you because we want to create some kind of accountability here. Who's using the steps and what kind of results are you getting? Because I really do believe that if you follow these 7 or 8 steps that you're going to see results and results that you really want. And you're going to see results quickly, which is the important thing. And you're not going to feel hungry or deprived. And that's really my main goal here. So everyone's kind of popping on. I'm going to share my screen with you because I want you to kind of see what it is, what we're all about today. We've got some people. Oh, Michelle says she's new and she's here. She's from the Philippines. So welcome, Michelle. We kind of have an interesting presentation for you today, Michelle, because we don't always talk about she says she has a spiritual energy healer. So today we're going to be talking about emotions. So that can absolutely affect our spirit and our sleeping. Sometimes our eating can too. I don't know if you've ever felt disappointed about trying to do something and then not getting to it or not having success at it. And then where do you really go? So I'm calling this presentation Lose the COVID-5 in 6 weeks, meaning COVID-5, meaning 5 pounds or 5 kilos. And I know those are not the same things, folks. I have really calculated this out. I think you can lose even 5 kilos in 6 weeks. You're going to have to be diligent about it, but I want you to treat yourself with kindness. I don't want you to beat yourself up about it. And I had a couple of conversations with mostly ladies recently who have said, I'm trying, but I don't know what to do. I have no discipline. Well, it's not always about discipline. Sometimes it's about building on our strengths. What's your strength? So if your strength is empathy, you want to obviously be empathetic with yourself. Maybe you want to look at this as a challenge, or you want to look at this as a way to possibly teach others, a way to pass the word. So if you're successful, you're able to talk about this with other people, and that's going to make for a really good conversation. Michelle, I'm happy that you're here also. I hope that you like the presentation. I think today's going to be a really interesting one. If I shut off my camera, I am not gone. I'm just protecting my eye. Many of you heard last week that I had an eye injury and I've been kind of staying away from screens and such. I'm feeling much, much better. I finally go back to the doctor this Friday. So I'm sort of on limited screen use. And if it starts bugging me, then I'll just shut off my screen while I'm talking. I'm going to be talking a little bit today, maybe more than usual. I have a lot of slides to show you. Super excited. So number one is, before we get started, if you would please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every week, every presentation that's done on here is then recorded and then posted live onto our YouTube channel. If you're watching on YouTube, welcome. So happy to have you here. Please pass the word. We are presenting usually at least twice a week, usually in English, and then later on in the week in Spanish. So if you are an English speaker, welcome. If you're a Spanish speaker, I'll see you later in the week. But always the same presentation, or usually the same presentation in both languages later on in the week. Sometimes we get an extra presentation in there, here or there. So keep abreast by subscribing and then ringing the bell so that you can get notifications when our new presentations come out. Okay, so number one is, and if you haven't done that yet, please take a moment, go onto YouTube. I'm actually going to give you the I'm going to give you the YouTube link, and I'm going to post it right in the chat for us. Let's see if I can get over to the chat. This is always my tricky part. Oh, here we go. Yep, if you can all hold on 1 minute, and there is the terrific. There's our YouTube chat link. So if you can hop onto the YouTube chat or you hop onto YouTube and watch and subscribe, I would really appreciate it. Okay, so let's get into a couple of the reasons why we overeat. Some of you may be thinking, well, I don't even know what the reasons are. Does it really matter? But sometimes it does. When we break it down and we start thinking about why we do the things we do, we can make better decisions. Okay. Okay, so the majority of people who overeat on a regular basis, there's usually a unifying reason for this unhealthy habit. Well, there's actually a couple of reasons. Let's call it three main reasons. So number one is we can group the reasons we overeat into three main categories. Number one is maybe your body is just confused. Sometimes we're in a rush. We eat our meals based on our commutes and our lunch breaks versus when our body is asking for food. So our meals are usually distracted. Maybe they're mindless, and we're barely taking the time we need to really recognize when we're full. And of course, our bodies maybe are a little confused. We're eating by a clock rather than our internal signals. Number two can be that we're lacking in nutrients. The human body carefully deciphers the information that it gets and uses it for future communication, so that if you're regularly snacking on unhealthy food when you're not hungry, this information is being handed to your body as a normal occurrence. And I don't know about all of you, some of you I'm older than, some of you were the same age. When I was a kid, I did not snack. We did not have snacks in our house, and maybe it was a cultural thing, or maybe because we didn't have a lot of money, we didn't snack, but snacking was not a part of our regular routine. And as you know, now all over the world, snacking has become commonplace. There are still a few countries, most of them are in Europe, where snacking is really considered not a nice thing to do. People don't walk around in the street with food, but at least here in the United States, everyone's walking around with food and driving with food all the time. So they have drinks in their cars and snack bars and so on. And all of those extra calories really can add up to a lot of additional weight gain. So if your snack choices don't give you the nutrients that you need, your body doesn't know the stomach is full, but it still doesn't have the nutrients it needs. So you got to be really careful when you are snacking, if you are snacking, to make sure that you're getting the things that your body needs. So not the cupcakes, but more like the tomatoes and the carrots and the cucumbers and maybe the grapes that are in the back of that refrigerator. Number three, why we overeat is you're craving something other than food. So in addition to having mixed signals about poor nutrition, some of the habits that we have for eating are due to emotional response. It's not uncommon to see comfort and pleasure in food, whether it's a particularly stressful day, maybe you got into an argument with someone close to you, going through a major life change. Food can be the easiest form of stress relief, and for some people, even therapy. So food can symbolize special events, happy times with the people you love, and an easy way of treating yourself. But the result of using food as therapy is if it's a short-term thing, that's one thing. But if it's a long-term thing, it can become a dangerous habit. While it's okay to allow food to comfort you occasionally, you'll be interrupting your body's natural stress response system if you begin to rely on it regularly. So I know for myself that when I get stressed out, I want maybe comfort foods. Comfort foods for me would be maybe something soft and mushy like a pudding. Other people, it could be chips, something salty, all different sorts of comfort foods out there, as we know. But there are also people when they get stressed, they don't eat anything at all. Unfortunately, I don't fall into that category. I usually fall into the too much. The other thing that we hear a lot is somebody gets home from work or they've had a bad day and they immediately reach for alcohol, which is another one that we want to be mindful of. Alcohol in moderation, in my humble opinion, is okay, but you really want to watch it if you're turning to alcohol on a regular basis. It can be empty calories. It's full of sugar, just like those cupcakes that you see there. And it really can create some other long-lasting effects, including damage to the liver, that we really want to be mindful of. As we age, our liver is, well, not even as we age, our liver is our filter. And then as we age, we also have to be careful that our filter is working properly, right? That our filter is being able to take out all the toxins from our life. And this is a really important one. Okay, so how do we get overeating under control? You want to take some fairly consistent steps. You've got to identify, right, and recognize that it's an issue. Then you have to make yourself available to trying different strategies to combat it. So if you've always tried the willpower method, which is, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm going to resist. Well, you know what? If it's not working right now, or it hasn't worked recently, let's try a different method. Maybe try kindness with yourself or some other strategies that we're going to talk about here. I'm also going to tell you 8 ways. And for those of you who got on a little bit later, 8 things that I'm doing right now that are really, really helping me. Last but not least, you have to really be willing to get ready. You got to be ready, right? To take control of your life, your health, and really your happiness. Because I don't know about you, but if I get into a slump sometimes and I'm just kind of looking at my, I don't know, something that doesn't fit me, it really makes me feel bummed out. Now there's an option. I can throw out my clothes and then start all over again, but that I don't know if that's going to make me happy in the long run either. So let's start looking at some strategies to stop overeating, hopefully once and for all. So let's talk first about mindfulness. And for those of you who are working with the mind, the spirit, the energy, the emotions of your clients, your customers, your team members, this is an important aspect of being able to eat properly and not lose control, really, and eat more than we want to. It's a concept. Usually from Eastern philosophies, but in many meditative and spiritual practices, the idea of kind of slowing down, physical, psychological, and emotionally, just kind of becoming aware of what it is that we're doing, as opposed to just doing things without thinking, right? We want to try to reduce stress. Mindfulness can reduce compulsive behavior, emotional reactivity. There's also improved relaxation, immune system response, and last but not least, empathy. Because when we slow down and we don't react in the moment, we tend to give a better response to the person who's right in front of us. So this is kind of a super condensed version. If anybody's interested, we can always do a bigger presentation on this. But you want to, your mindfulness in this particular aspect, the idea is to halt overeating and to nurture yourself in a forgiving way. Okay, so let's talk about mindful eating 101. So a couple of things that you want to keep in mind if you want to pay attention to your experiences, your cravings, your physical cues, and your emotional responses while you're eating. So of course you want to try to eat maybe a little bit more slowly. You want to remove distractions. You want to refine communication with your body to recognize what's true satiety. When do we feel like that's enough? try to distinguish between physical and emotional health, hunger, and then letting your senses really take over when you eat. Like even though that salad may be small, it also doesn't look like it has any dressing on, but I'm just saying, it really does look bright and cheerful. And this gentleman who's about to eat the salad looks like he's happy to do it. How many of you have sat down with a bowl, a plate, whatever it is, popped on the television or started scrolling on your telephone, and before you know it, whatever was on your plate is gone, and you're literally thinking, wait, I finished that already? Stop, compose yourself, try to really concentrate on your food, and then move on to the next thing. It's not as hard as you think, but it's going to take some thinking processes. Okay, so slowing down your fork. Everybody knows that eating slowly is good for you. When I was a kid, my mother always used to say to me, and I repeat it to my kids all the time, you are not being chased by a train. And so if you're being chased by a train and you had to eat as quickly as possible, you would literally be gulping down your food, lickety split. But if you're not being chased by a train, then you can be sitting perhaps in the dining car of the train, and you can take your time to eat your food. Eating quickly can lead, of course, to poor digestion, weight gain, and then less satisfaction from our meal. So I have to say, it's always been a tradition in our house to sit down for our evening meal together. Breakfast and lunch, everybody's kind of been on their own. During COVID, we would kind of have a lunch hour, but not exactly. We would kind of, I don't know, touch base with each other. Sometimes I would eat with my daughter or maybe with my son. Everybody's kind of on a different schedule when we were all at home. We were here at home, I want to say about 3 months in the spring, and then again about another 3 months in the fall/winter. So we've been together at least of this whole year of COVID, about 6 months full time in the house, the four of us. My mother was here with us in the beginning, so that was 5. Just a lot going on, a lot of personalities, a lot of I don't like to eat that, and so on. But we fell into a groove eventually, and we became much more mindful of our eating patterns. And every single night we sat down to a meal as a family, or let's say 99% of the time. Okay, so let's also think about finishing it, right? Are you going to finish that? So this really pertains to 2 different things. Number 1 is looking at your plate, right? And really saying, do I have to polish off every single morsel that's on my plate? Or can I leave something that my mom always used to call humility food? So humility food was that last bite of food that you left on the plate in humility because you didn't want to seem like a glutton. And sometimes I have to say in my family, and I think I've told you this before, somebody in my family would eat my humility food because I'd say, are you going to eat that? And then, are you going to finish that? Literally. And then they would finish it for me. But I love the fact that leaving something on your plate can be both a spiritual practice and a physical one. So did you know that slow eaters consume 2 ounces of food per minute? Medium speed eaters consume approximately 2.5 ounces of food per minute, but fast eaters consume 3.1 ounces per minute. So the difference between the 2 and the 3, the slow eaters and the fast eaters, really makes up a big difference, right? And another study conducted at the University of Rhode Island calculated the amount of calories consumed between different eating speeds, and the results are literally shocking. Women who ate quickly consumed 646 calories in 9 minutes, and women who ate slowly consumed 574 calories. So only about 70 calories less, but in 29 minutes. But imagine over time what that really means. So you read that right, 67 less calories in 20 more minutes. Why? Because their body began to respond to the cues of I'm eating, I'm getting full, I don't have to eat as much. So it's really important, I think, that we slow down when we eat. Okay, here's a how-to guide for slowing down. I'm going to give you a couple of tips. You can write these down. Obviously, you can put your utensils down between each bite. This can be a little bit complicated, but at least rest them on your plate between bites. That's a great way to slow down. Look at the people that are around you. Are they eating as quickly as you are, or they're eating more slowly? If they're eating more slowly, that should be a big bell ringer. I'm eating too fast. You can set a minimum number of chews per bite. And no, it doesn't have to be 100 chews. You can easily make it 30 chews or 20 chews or 50 chews. It's the idea of being mindful, right? Take smaller servings at first and allow yourself to go back for more if appropriate, unless that's a trigger for you, because sometimes it is for me. I'll sometimes take one serving and then feel like, oh, I just have a little more, but I wound up getting a lot more. And that's, for me, that just doesn't work. I need to have one plate of food and be done with it. And then set aside 20 to 30 minutes to eat each meal. Don't be eating on the run. Again, don't be eating while being chased by a train. And then finally, we're going to talk about this later on, but find an accountability partner that you can pace your eating with. So if you live alone or you live with a spouse who eats like they're being chased by a runaway train, you're going to have to find a way to eat more slowly. If you eat by yourself, maybe having a timer, maybe watching somebody on a TV that eats really slowly, but just make sure that you're becoming more mindful. That's the message for today, really mindfulness. When we get to our 7 or 8 tips, depending on if you're a man or a lady, you're going to really find some interesting things that I'm adding that are helping. Okay, minimizing distractions. How many of you eat at your desks? And then ask yourself the question, did I enjoy this food? How much actually did I eat? Am I getting full? And do I feel nourished? I know sometimes if I'm on the run, I'll run into my kitchen, I'll eat or drink something, and I'll look at my plate and I realize my food is gone, but I really don't feel full. But I ate so quickly that my body hasn't had time to respond. So it's not the time for me to run back into the kitchen and get more. It's the time for me to maybe sit and rest or get up from the table and go do something else. And then if in 20 to 30 minutes, I still feel I didn't have enough to eat. This was a strategy that I use with my son. Many of you either have teenagers, know teenagers, teenage boys in general can eat a lot. I would frequently say to my son, no, you've had enough. Wait 20 minutes. If you're still starving, I'll give you something else to eat. But I wouldn't give in to those kind of, Mom, can I just have another plate? Mom, can I just have another plate? You know, there's a limit to how much anybody can eat. Rely on your senses. This is a good one. So your senses, as you know, are taste, smell, sight, feel, and hearing, right? So you want to make sure that the taste, obviously it's something appealing to you. You don't want to eat something that's not appealing. And we're going to talk about some things that I'm going to recommend to you. And I want to make sure that we have an open conversation in the chat about what are the things that you like. You want to make sure that the look of the meal is appealing, the feel of it, the texture. You know, if you want something crunchy, you shouldn't be eating something mushy because you're not going to get that same satisfaction about the feel. Listen to it. Your food absolutely does make noises. There's differences between crunchy and smooth and so on. And then research has explored a little bit how people interact with the senses of their food. Plates filled with strong aromas, vibrant and varied colors, pleasant, smooth textures, all those kinds of things provided more satisfaction to the participants. And as you know, many of you know that in different cuisines around the world, I'm thinking specifically of Japanese cuisine. There's a real focus on incorporating the different tastes. So sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and so on, and incorporating all of those into one meal, which can be very, very satisfying. Okay, you want to hydrate. Essential oils make that a little bit easier. You can add essential oils into your water. We're going to also talk about a couple of things that you can do to make yourself either drink more water or set goals for yourself for drinking water. Sometimes also drinking a glass of water and then waiting 15 minutes. That's the key to the ballgame, folks. You don't gulp down the water and then say, oh, it didn't work. Let me go eat now instead. Drink the water and then wait the 15 minutes. And then I think I have 2 more and then I'm getting to my tips. I know I've been talking a lot. You want to sleep. Sleep really does work for allowing the body to reset itself. And if you're having difficulty sleeping, this is something I think maybe we should do a class on sleep. We haven't done one for kids recently. We haven't done one for sleep. So maybe those are our next 2. It's important that you hit about the 7-hour mark. Under the 7 hours tends to be just not enough. Studies have shown that people who slept only 4.5 hours a night for only 4 nights in a row, so only 4, ate an average of 300 additional calories versus those who had gotten over 8 hours of sleep. So you're cutting back on your sleep really can make a difference to your waistline. And there's a lot of things that you can do, including taking teas, using your essential oils, you're using your lavender peace, you're using your Roman chamomile, diffusing, applying, all of those things. Vetiver, I sometimes, when I get up in the middle of the night, if I'm worried about something, I will get up in the middle of the night thinking, oh my goodness, this is on my mind. And I'll take my 2 Serenity capsules. I'll probably take maybe a copaiba with that, and I'll take 4 drops of vetiver in a capsule. And I have to say, it never fails me, absolutely never fails me. Here's the other thing you want to do from time to time. After eating and eating dinner, do you have something to do? And that may be the biggest reason why we snack. Maybe you're just bored. Can you get yourself out of the kitchen or out of the proximity of the kitchen and go do something that you really enjoy? Maybe it's a book, maybe it's whatever it is. I find very often that if I get out of the kitchen, I go to the 2nd floor of our house and just sit down with a good book or anything, talk to somebody on the phone. I don't even think about food. I might get thirsty, but I'm not going to schlep back to the kitchen to go and get something or make myself something. The other thing that I do is right after dinner, we immediately clean up the kitchen and shut off the lights. It's like done. The kitchen is closed. Okay. You want to make some space. And this is important because we're going to talk about 8 things that you're going to add. So you're going to make sure that those things are available for you at hand. This also accounts for having healthy snacks available, things like fresh fruits and vegetables, having them cut up so that if you do get peckish, you can grab an apple as opposed to something less healthy. Okay, and then last but not least, you want to remove the traps. So here's a couple of traps that can help us really, I don't know, certain traps that you may not even realize. You want to order less for yourself if you're in a restaurant. Use smaller plates and taller glasses. Interestingly enough, taller glasses tend to make you think that you've had more. I don't know why that is. And oh wait, don't eat from the package, right? If you can possibly unpack it from the package, take the extra steps and make it work. Don't eat from the package. Okay, so 8 daily habits. I'm actually going to turn on my video for a second just to take a look at all of you. I've been yakking. How is everybody doing? I hope you're doing well. We have the 8 daily habits now. These are things that I personally am doing, and I'm incorporating them into my routine. And the way I broke them down for you is how I'm taking them and when, because sometimes I get recommendations from people who say, oh, take this, but they don't tell me how they're doing it. I want to really know the nitty gritty. And I think you do too. So let's talk about the nitty gritty of exactly what I'm doing. I'm taking 8 steps, right? To make sure that those extra COVID pounds are gone. And I'm giving myself 6 weeks to do it. So I kind of set a time limit on myself. And I actually have a big graduation. My daughter's graduation is coming up from university. So that's a big deal. I want to make sure that I have a nice dress to wear and I just feel happy and joyous on that day and not like, oh my gosh, I'm squeezed into this outfit and I feel so uncomfortable. Okay, step number 1, what am I doing? Okay, I am taking my daily nutrient pack on a daily basis. Now I'm being totally honest with you. I take the XE Omega and the Microplex VMZ. I do not take Alpha CRS. And I've said this before on this call, it doesn't agree with me, but these 2 products do. I'm taking 2 XE Omega and 2 Microplex VMZ on a daily basis in the morning. Now, you know that the XE Omega is your fatty acids for heart and brain. It gives you some antioxidants in there. It really is a wonderful product. And your VMZ is your vitamins and mineral complex. So both of those together work really well for me. easy on the stomach, especially when it's just 2 and 2. What I'm doing next is I am also adding Mito to max. Part of that is because when I am eating less, sometimes my energy is flagging. I'm just not getting the same amount of calories as I was before. Maybe I'm not eating sugar. Sugar can be another boost sometimes to your energy. I don't want to drink 50 cups of coffee in a day. That's not healthy. So I'm taking my Mito to max in the morning, and I'm taking 2 Mito to max. Now, have you ever tried Mito to max? It can be taken throughout the day. I take it in the morning, and I find that 2 in the morning is enough. Here's the other thing that I want to remind you of. If you're taking other things, really look carefully at what the list of items that you are taking, because this can be a big problem. We're always talking about what you can add, but sometimes you have to delete. So if you're taking a lot of things in the morning or throughout the day, and you're beginning to feel like, wow, I'm taking so much, have a conversation with your upline. Talk to them about what you're taking. You may be able to really change up the supplements that you're taking. I think it's important for us from time to time to really look at the total amount and say, okay, wait, do I need this right now? Or could I drop this thing because it's not necessary for me today? So for those of you who've had that experience, that you pick something up and then later on you dropped it or you replaced it, I want to hear in the chat, what have you dropped and what have you added? So for mine, I already confessed, I dropped Alpha CRS and I picked up Mito to max. I dropped Alpha CRS and picked up Mito to max. What did you do? What substitutions have you made? I want to hear in the chat. I'm going to give you a minute. I'm going to have a sip so I can, this is actually iced coffee, folks. So tell me if you've dropped something and picked something else up. I'm waiting for a minute. Or do you just keep adding and adding and adding and adding? Can you tell me? I don't see anybody in the chat saying anything. I'm waiting. Okay, maybe nobody's dropped anything. All right, that's interesting. Okay, so those are my first two. Number 3 is at 10 a.m., I'm taking the fiber supplement. Now, I have to tell you, I love the fiber supplement. I love it for a couple of reasons. This is the brand new one. If you haven't had a chance to use it, or you're thinking, oh, I don't know, fiber, really, it is a wonderful new product. And here's a couple of things. Vincent says he just adds, I didn't know I can swap. Okay, great. And then Teresa says she's going back to the basics and we'll add back one at a time. Okay, terrific. Okay, so the fiber supplement, what I'm doing is I'm taking 1 serving. So that's 10 ounces of water, which is approximately 500 milliliters, a little bit less. Let's say it's 400 milliliters of water with 1 scoop, and the scoop is right in the bag of the fiber. You want to mix it up well, and then you want to drink it down relatively quickly, because if you let it sit, it will begin to thicken. However, it's not an instantaneous thing. I think some people thought they would mix it and immediately, whoo, it would become Jello. It doesn't work that way, folks. Okay, so you're going to mix it up, maybe with a whisk or a spoon, and then you want to drink it over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Now, yesterday I really tried to extend it because I wanted to see how fast would it get thick. I was in my kitchen, and I was kind of puttering around in the kitchen. I set a timer for myself. I went upstairs. I brushed my teeth. I did a couple of other things. I was watching, and then I went and I started again. About 10 minutes had passed, and it was still thin. It was not thick yet. So it's not instantaneous. It's not even a minute or two. You don't have to be worried, oh my gosh, it's going to be so thick and I'm not going to be able to drink it. No, you don't have to worry about that. And what's the worst thing that could happen? You let it sit. You're not pleased with the texture. You throw out one and you make yourself another one. So you've maybe wasted 1 scoop of the fiber, but I would definitely try it. It does have soluble and insoluble fiber and a prebiotic blend, has lemon essential oil and vitamin C. So it's really a powerhouse. The other thing that I love about it is I thought that I was eating a lot of fiber. And when I got the fiber product, I thought, I'm eating plenty of fiber. I don't really need this product. And then I read on the back that the average adult gets much, much less fiber than the average daily recommended amount, which is 28 grams of fiber. I added up all the fruits and vegetables and everything that I eat on a daily basis, and I didn't even come close. Not even close, folks. Like maybe, I don't know, 10 grams of fiber in an entire day, and I'm supposed to be getting almost 30. So I was about a third. So fiber is a really big deal. So it's a good idea for a couple of different things. Number one is fiber kind of cleans out your insides, right? That's why you have soluble and insoluble. The other thing that fiber does is it gives you that sense of fullness. So if you begin your day, the reason I'm taking it at 10 a.m. is I know that usually I have a midday meal at about 12. What that 10 o'clock fiber supplement does for me is it almost acts like a replacement shake. So instead of drinking shakes throughout the day, that for me would be boring, I'm taking the fiber in the morning, and I'm finding that either I can almost skip breakfast entirely, I just don't need it. So almost like an intermittent fast. And many of you have done or have thought about doing intermittent fasting. It is something that is traditional in many, many cultures. The fiber supplement is almost helping me to do that so that I can get to maybe the noon hour and not be starving and then maybe overeat at noon. So I really like taking the fiber at 10 a.m. It's quick and easy. I mean, honestly, you could bring it anywhere. You wouldn't want to pre-mix it. You want to keep the powder and the water separate, but could you even put the powder in a little zipper top bag and bring it with you to work, and then just grab some water from a water fountain or whatever and mix it in, as long as you have something to mix with, because you really are going to have to stir it up. I love it. I think that it's really working. This is my other tip. Okay, so we got a couple of people saying, what if I take the LLV3 products and also add Mito Max? Absolutely. There's no reason why you couldn't do it. The only reason I'm telling you what I'm doing is a lot of people have come back to me and have said, tell me exactly what you do. So I don't want to mislead people, and I also want to be scrupulously honest, because I want you to know what I'm doing, right? So if it works for me, I don't want to leave anything out. I don't want to add anything. I try to go through meticulously. Okay, what exactly am I taking? Now, sometimes the one variable is diffusing. I'm not a consistent diffuser with a particular oil. I diffuse all the time, but I diffuse everything. So I'm going to mention something for diffusing at the end, a couple of recommendations for diffusing for weight loss specifically, but that's the thing. That's the one variable, at least in my house, but everything else is kind of fixed. Ben says that he dropped Mito Max, added Zendocrine and Slim and Sassy. Ben, that's terrific. Yes, whatever combination is working for you, that's the combination that you need to work on. I know many of you have gotten the fiber and the protein. I think it helps. I really do. And they're almost like what I'm going to call meal replacements, but they're also tools that we're using, right, to get to the other side. Okay, so number 4, what am I doing? At noon, I'm taking a protein shake. So, that we have whey shakes and we have vegan shakes. The vegan shakes have been very much out of stock recently. So you're going to have to really watch the minute they come back in if you want a vegan shake. In the meantime, I'm using the chocolate whey protein, which I love. I'm mixing it as required on I think it's 9 ounces of water, which is about 250 milliliters of water, 1 scoop of the whey protein. I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of dried peanut butter powder, because I want that flavor of chocolate peanut butter. And then I add in, and I know this sounds crazy, but I think I really like it, either I had powdered turmeric that I had been adding into my shakes before. Now I'm adding 1 drop of turmeric oil. So 1 drop of turmeric oil, that's what's going in my shake. I really like it. I like the flavor. I like that kind of, I don't know, bitter, chocolatey, peanut buttery taste. You may not, but I would say the bottom line here is the whey protein. So how you're flavoring it is less important than that you're getting the protein, because I think protein is really the building blocks. It's a building block of muscle. It's also the building block of satiety. If you're not getting enough protein, you are going to feel hungry. If you're trying to eat just lettuce leaves all day long, by the end of the day, you're going to be starving. Teresa says that she started adding 1 drop of peppermint to her chocolate shake and it's tasting really good. fabulous, whatever it is that you're using. I also will frequently slice up half of a frozen banana just to get a really, you're talking about creaminess, sensation, and mouthfeel, so on. Half of a banana sliced into the shake, frozen banana, to give the shake a lot of creaminess. I've even added in, I know this sounds crazy, but I sometimes will bake squash in the oven. And when the squash is cooled, I'll freeze it into chunks, peeling it and freezing it into chunks. And I'll add like 4 or 5 chunks equal to a half of banana into the shake. And that also gives a little bit of creaminess. It adds a few calories. It adds a few carbohydrates, absolutely. But neither the banana nor the squash are adding so many extra calories, but they are giving a lot of creaminess to the shake. So I don't know if anybody's done anything to the shakes. I want to hear what it is that you're adding. You can add, I mean, people go a little bit crazy and start adding all kinds of things. My daughter is one of these people who loves to doctor up the shake, and she'll add, I don't even know, matcha and all different sorts of things. Her shakes are amazing, but I don't have that kind of time. And I kind of feel like repeating for me is a really successful strategy. If I have a routine and I can write it out, and I have to say, as I was writing this out, it really became more clear to me why certain things were working. So each shake has additional protein. Has 21 grams of protein. It does have 7 grams of fiber. So between the fiber shake and the protein shake, you're getting quite a lot of fiber in your diet, which is a wonderful thing. It's going to help to manage appetite and assist with overall digestion. So let's talk about the third product that I'm taking. And I'm doing this now at 2 p.m. So 10, 12, and 2. At 2 p.m., I'm taking the greens, and I'm just basically mixing this up in a measuring cup. Again, about 250 milliliters of water, 1 scoop of the greens, and mix it up real fast. You can do whatever it is that you want with the greens. You could add it into a shake. I'm looking for simplicity, and I also want to be able to do this wherever I go. I can take a scoop of the greens, put it into a zip top, and then I could just ask for water just about anywhere. I mean, you can eyeball what 8 ounces of water on. A lot of times I'm in the house. It does say to drink it immediately, but I don't know that this really, I don't know that it gets thicker. I haven't heard anything. You could add it into a smoothie. You could drink a second smoothie if you wanted, if that was the thing that you felt like you wanted to do. I would say you could probably drink up to 4 smoothies a day. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you were a man and you were very hungry, I'd rather you drink a second or third smoothie. The only thing I would be concerned about with maybe the fourth, let's say 3 smoothies, would be a large amount of protein, because you're really getting 21 grams of protein in each one of those shakes. So 3 shakes would be 63 grams of protein, which is a lot. But we also know men who eat enormous steaks and big pieces of chicken or whatever it is. So they're also getting a lot of protein in their diet. So just consider that. If you're still hungry, consider eating a second shake, or even a third one if you really need it. Z says she adds banana, mixed nuts, Greek yogurt, oats, and ice. Wow, with the chocolate protein and adaptogenics plus greens. Cool. Now here's the other thing that's interesting. If you have any of the adaptogenic hot cocoa left over, you could also use that, add that into your shake. The interesting thing about that is it contains a lot of adaptogenic mushrooms, like reishi mushrooms, that could be really, really healthy for you. It would actually add a little bit more dimension to your shake. That's what I'm trying to get to. You've got to doctor up your shake so that it works for you, right? And it's something that you're going to be drinking probably for a while, obviously for 6 weeks, if you're going to be on this program for 6 weeks. So you have to like it. You got to find the thing that works for you. Okay, before my evening meal. So my evening meal usually is pretty early. My husband is working an unusual schedule right now for work because of COVID. He was working from home, but usually he starts his work day between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And so we're eating at kind of that earlier hours, because he's kind of just started. He's working with different countries, and so he's got to get on at a funny time during the day. I don't know if this is going to go on forever, but it's going on right now. I would say we are usually sitting down to eat between 6 and 7 p.m., which for some of you may be super early. And so by 7 o'clock really, or even 7:30, our dinner is kind of done. So if we, for whatever reason, need to postpone dinner, then of course my body has gotten used to doing this schedule now because we've been doing it for at least 6 months. I feel a little peckish. I start to feel hungry. That's when I can take my Slim and Sassy soft gels. Now, for some of you, you've told me that you feel that it's a little hard on your stomach. I usually take a single soft gel. Sometimes I'll take 2 if I really feel I need it, but you can keep them in the freezer. And I find that sometimes cuts down on some of the stomach upset. It does promote a healthy metabolism. It can cut hunger craving. It's a great tool. I'm not sure that you necessarily have to take it every day, but I do love the capsules and I find that they really work for me. Megan is saying that she loves the cocoa and oh, the hot cocoa. Yeah, the hot cocoa is really good. I have to say, needless to say, I don't have a lot left after Christmas, but if you had a little bit left, you could add it back in. But healthy, I think it's super healthy. Again, with my evening meal, now I'm taking my second grouping, my XE Omega and my PLEX VMZ. And then number 7, I'm taking Yarrow palm capsules. I could probably take these in the morning, but sometimes I'm rushing and I'm just not that organized. I feel like I want to break up my capsules. So I'm taking 2 of the Yarrow palm capsules. Yarrow palm has a myriad of benefits. Metabolic function, healthy metabolic function is only one of them, but it is terrific for the skin, for skin firmness, and reduces skin imperfections and wrinkles and things. It also is a great antioxidant. So that's really the reason why I'm taking it. So as you know, as I said earlier, I'm not taking the Alpha CRS, but I am taking the Yarrow palm as an antioxidant. And occasionally I'm taking the Deep Blue capsules, which is a terrific antioxidant. I think you need an antioxidant if you're not taking one already, or if you've eliminated it for one reason or another. Doreen says, she's taking 2 drops of Yarrow palm, Slim and Sassy, frankincense, black pepper, and pink pepper in a veggie cap twice a day. And I guess that's, Doreen, that's working for you. That's a really, that's a great recipe. Yeah. So if you have a recipe, something that you're taking and that's allowing to either maintain your weight, control your weight, reduce your weight, let me know, because I'd love to hear it in the chat. The last thing that I'm taking, so those 7 tips are universal. They're for men and ladies. And this last tip I'm going to say is a ladies tip. I'm taking the phytoestrogen complex at night. So somebody asked me, well, why are you taking it at night? I found that when I took it in the evening, I had better benefits for me. I slept better. I felt less maybe grumpy. I'm at that age where I feel like I need some additional positive estrogens in my system. And so this is, I really feel like you could take this for a long time. I don't know. My mother's in her 90s now and is not taking it, but that's for a whole host of other reasons. But I really feel like it's something you could take for a long, long time. For me, it's a great product. Really, I feel like it supports my mood. I really like it. So ladies, that's the other product that I'm taking. The last but not least, I have 2 other things that I want to mention to you. One is the Slim and Sassy. Now, I don't take Slim and Sassy on a daily basis. I can't work it into my routine. I don't know why. But if you were going to take it, you could take it internally, topically, or aromatically, which is where we go back to diffusing. And I'm going to talk a little bit about diffusing at the end. I know that I've been talking a long time today. My goodness, almost 50 minutes. I like it as a diffusing element. So you could put it in your diffuser. It smells very similar to On Guard for me when I have it in my diffuser. Really great. I think long-term benefits is it's going to help you with antioxidants. It's going to, because it's got that wintergreen in there, got the grapefruit. It's got just things that are going to help you in the long run. And then I think it's going to reduce cravings. So if you're a diffuser, I've got some tips for you at the end. So hang on. And use it as you see fit. If you want to take it internally, if you wanted to add it to your shake, terrific. If you wanted to put it on topically, make sure that you're applying it to areas that are, it can be sensitive on the skin, areas that are less sensitive, or dilute, and finally aromatically. So it can be used all three ways. Megan is asking, when do you suggest to take bone nutrient? Absolutely at the end of the day. Bone nutrient contains calcium. Calcium is great for sleeping. Take your bone nutrient at the end of the day. So if you're taking that, I'm going to turn off my screen one more time. I'm going to talk about two additional slides, or a few additional slides, and then I'm going to talk about some habits, some tips that I have for diffusing. So we're going to do habit stacking, right? So how do we remember to do this stuff, right? I can give you all the tips in the world, but if you can't remember how you're doing this, or you can't think of what am I going to do, you've got to tie these new habits to older habits that you already have. If you have your vitamins in a vitamin box, add these in. If you have your something on your counter that you're doing on a daily basis, brushing your teeth, leave your blender out, all the things that we've got to try to incorporate when we want to incorporate new habits. Habit stacking is really a wonderful one. Leaving out our gym clothes. And I haven't really talked about exercise here because sometimes that's not the first thing that people want to do. They really want to get their eating under control, and then they feel like they could really get cracking with exercise. I'm going to say that if that works for you, I think that's absolutely okay. There's no reason why you have to do this everything at once. And I think sometimes when we try to change everything at once, we make it really difficult for ourselves. We don't have magic wands that we can transform ourselves completely. I think sometimes we have to be gentle with ourselves and kind, right? Don't beat yourself up. Allow yourself to make a mistake, but then get back on the wagon. And I'm not telling you, I don't think anything that you haven't heard a million times before. Olivia says that she drinks Slim and Sassy with lemon twice a day, and she lost 5 kilos. Fabulous, Olivia. And it said, she says it basically kind of took away her appetite, and then she added the lemon. So she probably added fresh. So Olivia, tell us in the chat if you added lemon essential oil and lemon juice. We'd love to find out. Okay, here are my diffusing tips. Okay, so week 1, because remember, this is a 6-week, and you can take a photograph for this. These are my 6 weeks of diffusing tips. Week number 1 for grapefruit, which curbs cravings, reduces appetite, and can induce fat burning. Week number 2, peppermint, to enhance a sense of fullness, reduce cravings and appetite. Week number 3, ginger plus lemon. Lemon alone for me in a diffuser just smells weak, but ginger and lemon together is delicious. Again, fat burning and promotes satiety. Slim and Sassy, that's the one we were talking about before, balances the metabolism, eliminates craving, and lifts mood. It can also act as a diuretic, which is a positive thing. Olivia says that she added lemon essential oil. Thank you, Olivia. Zendocrine, which supports the body's ability to remove toxins and waste effectively. And then finally, bergamot. Calming and mood uplifting, helps to calm emotional stress-induced eating. Now, you don't have to do these week by week. You could mix them up, but these are my recommendations for diffusing if you are on a weight control plan. Talked a little bit about stress maintenance, but we want to be nice to ourselves when they're going through this process. Don't beat yourself up. Take yourself for a nice walk, maybe a warm bath, listen to your favorite music, start a new book, arrange to spend time with your loved ones if you possibly can, either live or maybe on Zoom. Schedule a massage or a facial, exercise, and whatever that may be. And then practice your form of meditation or prayer. I think that sometimes centering ourselves and looking at the reasons why we're doing the things we're doing can be a real mind opener. And then the power of accountability. So you may want to involve your friends and family in the process. You can benefit them. Or if you're not, don't want to involve your friends and family because they're haven't been accountable or helpful in the past, why not use an app on your phone? Now, 2 of the biggest ones that I've used in the past are MyFitnessPal or something that's called Fast Habit, but there are tons of apps out there. You can download them to your phone. They can give you reminders on when to eat, when to exercise, how much you've eaten, what you've exercised. They are just amazing. If you are doing something like intermittent fasting, they can remind you to fast or to eat when it's time again. But just use your apps. There's so much technology out there. Don't be alone. You can even join chat groups online that can act as accountability partners. Maybe you're better off with an accountability partner who's a stranger. Maybe you don't want to have your best friend or your family because you've tried that before and it didn't work, or maybe you feel like you're not getting the support that you need from your family or your friends. So absolutely, use the resources that are out there. I'm going to give you some other resources, and I'm going to actually copy all of these into the chat. Because I know that people want additional resources and for everything. And I think this is really no different. So I want to say thank you to our Presidential Diamond team. As you know, the ideas expressed here are primarily from the book Essential Oils Healthcare for Today. We are actively, whoa, what happened there? There we go. We are actively working on some new promos on Instagram. We're going to be giving away in the 6 weeks. We're going to be giving away 6 weeks to summer. And so that's why this all ties in together. We're going to be giving away backpacks filled with goodies, and each one is going to be a different theme. So each week for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be giving away backpacks, doTERRA backpacks actually, that are filled with goodies. So you're going to get some fun swag, some fun things, and then you're going to be able to follow along and just really learn some cool things. Each backpack will have a different theme. One will be kids, maybe one will be weight loss. Not sure what the themes are right now, but that should be a lot of fun. So jump onto Instagram if you possibly can. We'll be starting that, I think, right after Easter, because I know a lot of people have actually jumped off of Instagram during Easter because they want to be more mindful, and that's good. But right after Easter, we're going to start back up again. So I actually have a new last slide. Remember, you are amazing. You are the magic. And this slide, actually, Teresa Kafar created this for me. I love this slide. It's so cute. I want to get it to move. I want the bubbles to move. Okay, I got to work on this a little bit. But thank you so much for having been here. And I really appreciate all the wonderful, good wishes that I'm hearing from everybody in the chat. So tell me a little bit about what's going. So here's a cool thing. I actually sent a giant box to Singapore of all kinds of new goodies and prizes, but I don't think it's arrived yet. So I think we're kind of down to our last few prizes. Today, I'm going to give away 2 bottles of Slim and Sassy gel caps. I know that they're on their way to Singapore, and please pardon me if they're not there yet. Please be patient. We're going to make sure that everybody gets what they need in terms of prizes, right? Because I think that's really fun. If you are interested in the backpack challenge and the backpack giveaway, give me some ideas. Tell me in the chat, what are some of the things you'd like to see in the backpacks? I know that, would you like to see some of the older products that aren't for sale anymore? Hint, hint. Or would you like to see just plain old swag items like, I don't know, we have robes. I get tons of things here. So I just want to know limited edition oils. Okay. What else would you like to see in the backpacks? If it was up to you and you could win a backpack that would have something in it, would you like swag? Oh, the immunity teas. Okay, great. Okay, keep telling me, if you could win a backpack, what would you like to see in it? Because I've had a lot of swag. Oils for kids. Okay, Olivia says. Anyone else? Let me know, what would you like to win in a backpack? Or what would you like your team to win if you're not if you haven't, if you say, oh, I never win anything. What would you like your team to win in the backpack? Okay. And I'm looking up our, I wanted to post, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to post our, the additional resources for us. There we go. There's some great mindful eating phone apps, a webinar, and also some top 10 Antioxidant special oils, especially for cancer patients. Oh, wow. Okay. All right. So I'm saying farewell to our YouTube listeners. Thank you so much for joining us. Anyone who's on the live, please stay on. We're going to give away our prizes. Looking forward to seeing you all again next week. I think we're going to be talking about kids. So that should be a really good presentation. So next week, get ready to hear about kids and essential oils. Always a good one. I haven't done that in a while. And I think all you mums and dads out there, we've got some great tips on getting ready for the summer, and that kind of launches our backpack. Actually, no, that's not true. Next week, we're talking about specials of the month. Maybe we'll do a small topic on, maybe we'll launch the backpack challenge next weekend. And then the following week, we'll be talking about kids. Okay. Have a wonderful week to everybody who's on YouTube. And for those of you who are on live, stay on because we've got some prizes that we want to award.